Josh, 52.
Yes, right, 52.
52 weeks of people listening to our voices come over the interwebs.
Yeah, I can't believe they're doing it because that's falling into my trap.
We've all been victims of your trap now, Josh.
Yep.
No, we started this and we started kind of in earnest, not necessarily knowing where it was all going to end up, but it's been a fun journey, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the ways that we kind of worked through to now, and talk about a little bit of the internal social experiment that Josh and I did by doing this.
Yeah, the highlights and the lowlights, I think. And I think that we want to kind of maybe we'll highlight some things that you guys should go back and listen to.
So,
right, Brian?
That's right. Strap on in as we launch out onto the loop and discuss the
Nifty 52.
Today on Curiosity Continuum. It's better. Better's a relative term. We talk about.
Hey, it's all right.
It's good. We're going to get there.
Hey, everybody. This is Josh.
And this is Brian.
Thank you for joining us on Curiosity Continuum. And if you're tuning in for the first time, shame on you, because this is our 1-year episode. So you guys should have been listening a long time. But if you're not, that's okay. So we want you guys to know that Curiosity Continuum is a podcast and movement started by two lifelong friends, Brian and myself, and we want to spark your curiosity, help you integrate information, and enhance your everyday contextual awareness in a constantly changing world.
And we share our conversations with you that explore, examine, and reframe common practical topics. So if you want to receive updates when new content's available for year 2, Nifty 53 and beyond, please be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you can receive notifications when there's something new to listen to.
And as always, you guys can find us on curiositycontinuum.com. And from there, you link out to all of our social media. You'll sign up for our email list, which we really do promise we are going to use soon. We've been saying that for about 10 episodes now, but we're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
We are going to do it. And we really thrive on your guys' feedback.
We want to, with email addresses, they're actually like, we know that they are valuable things. And we don't want to just be like, here's the random button that we're just hitting.
Right. We want to make sure the content we send you is meaningful and in the realm of this podcast. So we want to respect your time. That was like the number one thing Brian and I wanted to do starting this. So I really feel that we've done that, but we want to just continue to do that.
Yeah. Every interaction to be meaningful and useful. So this podcast is kind of a window into Josh and my's relationship as friends, but also kind of
into our soul,
deep into your soul,
which is not good. Dark and black, kind of like a date that has gone out of date. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh!
No, not in reality, but
Well, in reality,
figuratively
right. Speaking.
Yeah.
This is part of the way that Josh and I have approached topics is that both of our minds work in the way of kind of like finding the outer edges of something to be able to kind of give you coordinates to help you find the middle of something.
Exactly. So I think like what Brian's saying too is like we like to dance around the edge, the perimeter of something, and let you figure it out. Because that's where the power is, right, Brian?
Yeah, the self-revelation. And it's like a Mr. Miyagi approach. I could just tell you, we're going to learn how to kick today. And then you kick. And it's effective. Yeah. If they can't see you doing that, Josh, it sounds really creepy.
You're right, though. But yeah.
He's doing the Mr. Miyagi hand rub to make Daniel's leg better. I've got to give you some verbal cues here because otherwise you hear Josh breathing heavy into the microphone and everything. But here's where it did. We basically wanted to help you talk about these things with other people. You're listening to it. And also like, oh yeah, I have something to say. Because I think often people like, well, I don't necessarily have anything to add to that. Or if they do, they don't feel like their voice is important. But you'd see the world the way you do. And we were looking over the content for the last Nifty 52. And here's really when we boiled it down and said, like, what is it that this has been doing? And it's really been giving people, you guys, listeners, guys and gals, the essentials for thriving and collaborating in a constantly changing world. We know that the world is always going to be shifting and moving. And regardless of where you are, there's some essential things, whether it's knowledge or whether it's stuff, that you not only just survive, because I think some of us like, well, I'm surviving, but I'm maybe not doing as well as I'd like to. But these are the essentials that whatever you apply it to in your life, you can thrive, for one, on your own. But then it's actually collaborating and working together. It's really poor, the state of how we collaborate these days. And for Josh and I to be able to have been friends for, in our 4th decade now of friendship, we collaborate really well on things, and we just have fallen into that rhythm, and we realize there's actually a great need for that, to talk about it and to share.
Right. And like Brian has said, collaboration is key here, like a real collaboration, not just I'm in another room with somebody while I'm doing my work and they're doing theirs. But how can we as a group, even though we have disparate, goals, how can we come together and help each other? And so I think in each of these episodes, reaching all the way back to, friendship, and some of even the funner ones, Saving the Princess and the Legend of Zelda, like life lessons learned from Zelda. I think you guys can really pull out topics. You can pull out topical things that will apply to you and use them in your toolkit going forward.
And those are the ways that we want to enter into these type of things. Because sometimes your best learning is when you don't actually realize you're supposed to be learning something. Again, the Mr. Miyagi type of idea. And
right.
It's coming in.
Paint the fence, wax the car, sand the deck, things that he thought that he was just doing being a slave.
Yeah.
And he literally told him, I'm just your slave.
Yep.
And he said, paint the fence. And then he tries kicking him. And, he doesn't do it.
Right.
I mean, that's what I really feel that's what we're kind of trying to offer a little bit. I'm not saying that we're like Mr. Miyagi. We're not even on that level.
Josh looks nothing like Mr. Miyagi.
No, Brian does, but yet still not on that level. So
love you, mean it, Josh.
Yeah, I love you too, bro. But what I'm saying is we're pulling out one thing, I think, out of every episode.
Yes.
So if you haven't listened to all those episodes, and this is a shameless plug, go back and listen, because and if you have listened, listen again, because I do feel that those episodes maybe have some truths, especially once you're kind of into it and you kind of like understand what we're trying to do, that you'll pull out that one thing that we want you to do in each one.
Yeah. You don't even have to agree with us.
No.
Because at that point now...
And that, in part, that's actually better if you don't agree with us.
Because then it forces you to work through as to why you don't agree. Right?
Right.
Not just
and I want that conversation with somebody. So if you don't agree with us on something, I want you to contact me. I want to have that conversation with you. In fact, I think I'll go so far as to say we may even record that and we can be on an episode. Because I would love to have that conversation with somebody.
Mm-hmm. And then here's the proof of concept of how you actually have a meaningful conversation about it. The themes. Exactly. Josh and I have looked back at some of our most popular episodes, and there's themes that emerge. One of them is actually how people collaborate, how to have a conversation with somebody, and also the the applied learning. Right, those are the episodes that have really resonated with people because it offers a translation for you how to actually think about something differently. The major needs that are appearing in the workforce and appearing in schools and colleges and everything like that is problem solving, conflict resolution, communication. And so these are things that we're doing. And if you look at our name, Curiosity Continuum, we didn't draw the center immediately for you. We wanted to take you kind of around the loop to say, okay, here's kind of where things are in orbit around this one thing. Because for each of us it's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to give you necessary things in order to help you understand where your center is.
Exactly. And I think, too, we're not only drawing around the loop, but we're kind of reaching outside of the loop. Like recently, our episode, our analog skills episode with Tyler, kind of living off the land, and we're going to have another episode with him shortly. But I think that we're kind of reaching forward, too. And if you kind of are on board with that whole thing, and you kind of like, even if that's not your cup of tea, like living off the land, growing my own vegetables, that kind of thing, I think you could take comfort and actually, I don't know how to say it, Brian. I mean, like, not comfort, but you just take like you just like the idea that we're kind of trying to reach for something else too.
And it's reaching back. There's a comfort in going like, hey, here's what was familiar at one point. There's a lot of unfamiliarity that is plaguing the world right now. There's a lot of, at the time that we're recording this episode, a lot of fears around the economy, a lot of fears around worldwide illnesses and people stockpiling toilet paper and all these other kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean,
going on.
I went to Walmart the other day and I wasn't in the fight, but there was a fight over toilet paper.
Yeah. Literally, this crap is crazy because it's like you're fighting over
crap
toilet.
Is crazy because toilet paper can't handle it, and that means it's crazy.
And you're not immune just because you have 24 pallets of toilet paper at your house right now. But people do that because they can do that and they feel like they have some form of control in an uncontrollable situation, and it brings them some type of okay, now I can feel better now that I did this one thing.
Right.
Right. And so when you listen, a lot of times too, I'll listen to things and go, oh, this would be really good for so-and-so to hear. And sometimes true. It's harder. The next step though is like, how can I apply this to myself? Because if you've listened to these things, Josh and I definitely are not perfect people. And we will talk about that often with it. And it doesn't mean that just because you're not perfect, you're not valuable. That's a different type of equation altogether. But in the next 52 or Nifty, what we call it, just Nifty 104 doesn't sound quite as
Nifty 104. I'm going to say it right now. Nifty 104.
We're going to trademark.
No, I'm going to say in the next year.
Were you going to say something there?
Well, I said in the next year.
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to come in and say yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, Josh. In the next year. In the next year, I thought you were going to say something.
No, that's where you come in.
Oh, okay.
That's where I need my Asian assistance.
Well, here I am with the assistance for you, Josh.
All right.
We're going to build on the foundation here. And actually, it's going to sound a little funny, but we're going to dig a little deeper on some of these foundations, because these analog foundations about the way that you would think about things or approach problems or learn how to solve problems and learn how to work through conflict, those are things that will be with us as long as human beings are on the earth. And if we can kind of remind ourselves of those things and apply it in a way that is relevant to everybody involved, then we have done a good work here, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like Brian said, like we want to really just give you guys skills. And that's what this is. This is giving you a skill. Each episode is kind of highlighting a little bit, portion of a skill or part of a skill or a skill in whole. And I really feel that we're doing that for you, but we're going to make you dig a little bit. We're not going to just lay it all out for you.
No, we want to give you points to jump in.
Right. And that's what the loop is about.
Yep.
Right, Brian?
That's right. So this next year, as Josh so said, or the Nifty 104, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into these particular topics. And we want to engage you in a way where now you're leaning back into us for some of this stuff. And we want to know where you're actually say, you know what, like, I really feel like this is missing from the world right now. Or I've done this job for 40 years. And these are the things now that I'm seeing that are emerging. And this wisdom that we need to capture and make sure that everybody can benefit from it. Because human beings are really quick to forget something after they've learned it. Or even like...
They're very fickle. They're very fickle people.
Mm-hmm. And how even like history repeats itself because we didn't learn the first time or didn't take the right kind of cues.
Or we forget about it because it's not there for us to learn from.
Mm-hmm. I think in this cycle of history, it's not only we have plenty of access to information. It's what we do with the information and how we apply it. And so that's a very human thing to do. And that's where Josh and I are kind of focusing in on this year is like the human application of all the information that we're receiving. How do we actually process it and how do we actually apply it in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to put a comma, huh, Brian?
We'll do it. And until next time, very shortly, I'm sure, this is Brian.
And this is Josh.
For Curiosity Continuum.
I like that episode.